that was the United Farm Workers slogan for many years when some of us who are old enough to remember not eating grapes for years, which was a real sacrifice back in those days. And I think that's the motto of Casa Ruby. In the year, little over a year in June, that it has been open, it has already served more than 750 individual folks, and it has served 4,000 services to those people. Now, all of us know the great tragedies that beset the transgender community from the outside. And we all deal with the kind of issues and the threat of violence all the time in the community. But there's also the things that come from inside, when people feel lost and alone and abandoned. And no one who goes to Casa Ruby ever has to feel that way, because they are this woman's family, every single one. As a psychologist, I have to say that's a big thing to accomplish, but she's able to do it. Now, I've known Ruby for a number of years. She first came here in 1986. I wasn't sure the date, but 1986 from El Salvador, and she has been working for her community ever since then. I first met her when she worked at Whitman Walker doing HIV/AIDS prevention, and then we both worked down. I was co-located my agency down at Alpha Drugs, and we worked together down there. And we went to a lot of meetings together. And I drove her home a lot from those meetings. And we would end up sitting outside her apartment talking about this dream that she had. This would light up her eyes and her face, this vision of Casa Ruby. And she made that happen. And without her, it would not have happened, at least not at this time. And I think Cesar Chavez, who I had the privilege to actually meet and work on some demonstrations with, again, many, many years ago, would be very proud of Casa Ruby and very proud of what this woman has done in the steps of those progressive advocates of the Latino community that have done so much for so many people in our city. So I really congratulate her, and I want to close with Sisi Puerta. Maybe you say it better.
Puerta. Well, wow. You know, one of the hardest things for me is being acknowledged about some of the things that I'd like to do. But when I got the phone call, it was a very overwhelming moment, because as many of us know, it's not easy to begin something, especially when you are trying to move from advocacy into actually providing services. And I know that as a new individual providing those services, you know, what I didn't know was that there were lots of people that will come in, and that's what has kept me going. But I am not alone, and that's really the most important thing. Because it has been 14 months, and like always in life, I tend to do things a little different. You know, I transition. I moved from another country, you know, 27 years ago, I transitioned from a gay boy to a trans woman. And I opened a nonprofit agency with no funding. But I opened it with a lot of dreams. And those dreams come from a life of the support that I get from people like Pat. And the DC Center holds a very special place in my heart, because we share the same values. And when I say we share the same values, is we open the doors to people, and many times they have things, and many times they don't have anything. And I was a supporter of the DC Center. I lived around the corner. And when I went through a difficult time, one of the very few people when I was recovering that I came to and I said, I'm ready to go back and do this, was David Mariner. And I remember when the DC Center had relocated to 14th and R, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this again. And David said, you know what? you're going on the front desk because in case the computer runs out and someone needs information, I don't have to worry about it. And that lifted my spirits. And as I was in recovery at that time, I also had my little falls, and there was one that was not so little. And I want you to know, David, I will never forget that day that the DC Center was being vandalized and when I was bitching at you. And when I mean bitching, I was. But do you know what? Friends and supporters, they never leave your back. So to the people at the DC Center, to Michael Cesa and all of the people that have been there and have dreamed of a center that provides the best of the best for the people of this city that deserve it, you are my inspiration. I am a humanist, and that's just the nature, in my blood. But I learned. And even at times when I remember I opened the center and I didn't have a license, and David calls me, he's like, did you get your license yet? And I'm like, what do you mean a license? I don't have a business. It's like, you gotta get a license. And I run to get my license. So I want to say to all of you, because I see friends, and that is who you are to me, I want to say thank you. Because, yes, I dream big, and I think that's because I live in DC. But I know that I made it big, and it was because of all of you. Every day that I wake up, I get up early, and I don't have a paycheck yet, and I haven't had it for 14 months here. But I am so happy, and the thrill of opening the doors of Casa Ruby, and the sadness that I get when I close the doors because I want an LGBT shelter in this city for all. And it's gonna happen. But it comes from all of you. You feed my strength, the energy that I get to work 6 days a week and just love it. If I didn't love it, I will move on and I will put the position up for, as a vacant position. But I love it so much because I am not alone. I have hundreds and thousands of people in this city that believe in what I do. And to all of you and everyone that joins every day when they read a tweet or a story about me, thank you. Thank you, DC Center. This is amazing. I love all of you. And those were supposed to be red nails, so forget it. Forgive me for that.